Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine. I'm excited to do a little chatty get ready with me today and talk about confidence. I've become a lot more confident in my body, how I look and all of that, and I think you can really see that through my pictures on Instagram, here on my YouTube as well. So I wanted to do a chatty get ready with me, talk all about confidence, some of the jobs that I had, and some of the things that really helped me to be a little bit more confident in myself. Some tips that you guys might find helpful as well. So if you're interested, first make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the little notification bell. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If you guys have watched some of my recent videos, I recently have gotten bangs. I just don't really take the time to style them. This is just what you get today. I also got eyelash extensions, so getting ready has been super easy. I'm not really gonna talk through the makeup just because I want the focus to be a little bit more on the topic. I just got back from New York a couple of days ago, so I am working on my New York City vlog. It was supposed to be a big girls trip, but with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and stuff like that, everyone ended up wanting to stay home just to be safe. So it was just me, and I totally understand, because especially with like a worldwide health crisis, but I had so much fun while I was there. It just makes me want to come back to New York because I just had so much fun while I was there, and I really only had one day to fully explore, but I was mainly there for work. I had a couple meetings while I was out there, so it was good that I still went with the trip, but I ended up booking a flight home early. Okay, anyways, I started putting on my primer. Something that I put on earlier started peeling up, and I just can't stand when products on my face start peeling up, so I ended up just washing my face really quick. I was trying out a new First Aid Beauty mineral sunscreen, and that was the stuff that was peeling up, so I reapplied some of my Supergoop glow screen, which I know doesn't do me any wrong, so now my face isn't peeling as much anymore. Colourpop a while ago came out with this pretty fresh hyaluronic tinted moisturizer, and they sent me a couple, so I want to try them out today. I was also hanging out with one of my girlfriends in New York, and she was asking me about hyaluronic acid. Because of the name acid, she thought it was something that would like be really harsh on your skin, but hyaluronic acid is actually something that is great if you have dry skin or you want something a little bit more hydrating. Is actually an ingredient that helps to add a little bit more moisture to your skin, so don't be fooled by the acid in its name. I have here the shade 13W. I also have the shade 14W, but I think I would probably be something like this at the moment. Packaging is super cute. Oh yeah, it looks like a good match. By the time you guys see this video, my New York vlog will already be up, so I'll go ahead and link that. But I had such a great time, and Brandon and I definitely want to come back when the city is like not in lockdown. Anyways, to talk about confidence, in high school I was really insecure. So I actually had pretty bad skin, and it was something that I was really insecure about. I was also super shy. I feel like all throughout high school I had pretty toxic friends. No one was actually super genuine. I always had those groups that felt like if I wasn't there hanging out with them, I knew they were talking crap about me. I don't know why I continued to hang out with those people. It's just like some of the people that you go to elementary and middle school with, you know what I mean? And you just keep hanging out with them because it's convenient. I always relied on dating a guy to kind of make me feel a little bit better about myself, and all throughout high school I was always with someone. I was never really single for very long. Freshman, sophomore year of high school, I was with an older guy that he would always be with like multiple girls, and I would always be like one of many, and it never really was super good for my self-esteem, and I just never really felt like I was good enough. And then junior and senior year, I started dating a guy, and we dated for about 3 years. He also was considered a cool kid and was always super flirty and talking to other girls, and never was like upfront to me about it, so it always just made me feel super insecure. Also, like, I was never really good enough, so I feel like a lot of high school just wasn't really that great for me. I had such toxic friends. I was really shy, and it just didn't help that the relationships that I kind of forced myself in, none of my relationships ever like supported me as a woman. So after high school, I continued dating that guy. He ended up going to UCLA. While we were dating, I was going to UW. This guy actually got into a frat, and we actually ended up getting in a huge argument because he wanted to continue doing date dashes, which, if you aren't familiar with like the whole sorority, fraternity thing, it's just like one of those events that they do where they'll take a girl from a sorority out to dinner, to a dance, whatever, and then they'll come back and all party together. While we were dating, my boyfriend at the time, he wanted to go on these date dashes because it was part of his like fraternity, and he didn't want to feel left out. It was just kind of a big fight that we got into, which now looking back is so ridiculous. If you're dating someone and they want to go on other dates with other people, that's super problematic. And so we ended up getting a really big argument, broke up, and then I started going out a lot, and I met Brandon. Him and I started seeing each other really fresh after my breakup, and I wasn't ready to date anyone at the time. So Brandon and I we were kind of just like friends for a while, like really flirty friends. And then I would say about 6 months later, I started developing feelings for him. Shortly after that, we started dating. If you guys watched my video on like my breakup, Brandon and I actually ended up breaking up about 2.5 years into our relationship, and I think that was kind of like a big pivotal point in my life, because I think it was the first time I had ever realized that I needed to work on myself. I would just highly recommend checking out that video, because I talk a lot about like getting over that breakup and like things that I did to kind of help myself grow a ton. And just going through a lot of really failed relationships, and then having to take a break from someone that I really saw a future with, Brandon, really helped me to grow a ton. And then Brandon and I, once we started to get a little bit more serious, we moved in together. And after we broke up, I moved out into a house with some roommates. If you guys have been following me for a long time, that's where some of my old YouTube videos were. I started my YouTube channel in my little room of this, like, it was almost like a frat house, and I lived with all these guys that I used to work with, and they are like brothers to me. But that was a really great experience, because I feel like moving out and living with roommates is such a fun experience, and I feel like a lot of people experience that in college. And so moving into a house with roommates with all these guys that really kind of thought I was cute, I think was really great for my confidence. And some of the jobs that I picked up too were really great for helping me with that, because I became a server. I did a video recently talking about some of the jobs I had, so if you are interested in that, I'll go ahead and link it up in the corner. I ended up just really blooming, learning to get outside of my comfort zone. Working so many jobs also kind of forces you to make friends with your coworkers, be super friendly with strangers, and be able to think on your feet, and being able to hold a conversation with like a stranger. Having some retail job, restaurant experience, I think all helped to really develop my kind of confidence. And I think with the more jobs I had, I slowly got more and more confident talking to strangers, with carrying myself, and kind of feeling like I was no longer that like super awkward, weird girl from high school that really didn't have a lot of friends. I think it's always really great to work a ton of jobs, because I just feel like all of that really helps to build your confidence. And then I also had a couple friendships throughout college that were super toxic, and I ended up cutting out. Stopped talking to the girls that I talked to in high school, and I feel like it was so important for me to cut off those friendships, because I just felt like all of elementary, middle, and high school, I kind of just kept the same friend group because it was comfortable. But once I got a little bit older and I got to college, to maintain those relationships, you really had to go out of your way to maintain those friendships, because I knew that those types of friendships were toxic, and those friend groups, I just didn't really want to put in that effort if it wasn't going to be like anything genuine or people that didn't make me feel good about myself. So I stopped putting in the effort there, and it kind of just made me realize that you don't need to continue to have friendships with people that are toxic. There's no reason for you to maintain those friendships and go out of your way to hang out with these people if they don't support you and make you feel good about yourself. Ever since I started cutting out some of the people that I kind of grew up with, it made me a little bit more picky with my friend circle. I actually had a girlfriend that her and I were best friends, and we hung out all the time. We actually have like a couple YouTube videos together way back in the day, but her and I are no longer friends just because she was also very toxic and really problematic. I just am super picky now with my friend group. I value myself, I value my time and energy, and if there aren't people that are able to reciprocate that time and energy, it's just not someone that I want to really keep near and dear in my life. That is just something that I slowly learned, kind of being super confident in who you are as a person. For example, I know that I'm a great friend. I put a lot of time and effort into people that I value, and they reciprocate that. I know what I deserve, and I've been through so many toxic relationships and friendships that I know I want a certain standard. I expect a lot of the time and effort that I put into my friends for them to kind of put that back into me. So being picky with my friends have allowed me to kind of curate a circle of people that are really great, people that really are genuine and support me. I think that has also helped to build my confidence a lot, just knowing that I'm surrounded by really good people, and I have the power to cut off anyone that is toxic, just because I feel like sometimes, especially when you are like dating someone that is toxic, or you're in kind of a bad relationship, but you have so much of your life is intertwined with them. For example, when Brandon and I were living together and so much of our lives were connected, but we knew our relationship was bad. It was kind of hard to get out of that just because we knew so much of our lives were together and it was just comfortable. I feel like the same kind of goes for friendships. When you have only like one best friend and she's toxic, it's hard to get that out of your life because you don't want to get rid of like the one friend that knows everything about you. So for me, it's really helpful to kind of be super picky in the beginning, kind of make sure that the people that I hold really near and dear are people that I fully trust, people that always reciprocate all the love and energy that I give back out to them. Okay, also, I don't know if I like that Colourpop tinted moisturizer because it was kind of caking up around my pore area, and then when I added a little bit more extra powder to kind of set it in place, it just made my pores look really enhanced and bad. I'll have to keep playing around with that. I've never really had much luck with Colourpop like face products in the past. Actually had a ton of questions kind of about jealousy, and I feel like that all goes into having confidence because when Brandon and I first started dating, he kind of did stuff here and there that was a little bit sketch. He was a little bit of a playboy and couldn't really commit to like just me for a while. So if you've ever been cheated on or hurt or in a bad relationship, it's kind of hard to get back to trusting that person. If you're easily jealous of your boyfriend or girlfriend, that might not even be because you're insecure. It might just be because you've gone through a lot. I think it's good to have that talk with your significant other and kind of help them understand that whether it was them that caused you to be like extra cautious and have trust issues, or someone else that you have been in a relationship with, it's important for them to be able to understand what you've been through and how it's hard for you to trust them. And it's not something that they should take personally. It's just something from experience you've had kind of a bad experience with. And so they should always be super understanding of that. So in this case, a lot of the relationships that I had been to prior to Brandon were really toxic. I'd been cheated on before. With Brandon, he himself had done a couple sketchy stuff and he has cheated on me. Not just one time, but a couple times. And I feel like whenever you go through something like that, it really does take a hit on your confidence, your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, and also how willing you are to trust the next person you date. I made some mistakes, he made some mistakes, and obviously we are much better having learned from them. Brandon and I sit down and talk about it all the time, how whenever he does anything that makes me feel even like the slightest bit of like insecure, it kind of just brings all those feelings back of all the times when he did do me wrong. So whoever you're with, they have to be able to understand and maybe to be a little bit more accommodating than usual to kind of help you trust them a little bit more. So in mine and Brandon's case, he is able to understand and he's learned from his mistakes. So moving forward, I can trust him wholeheartedly with anything that he does. After him and I broke up, I also was dating around, kind of just figured out like men really aren't shit. Like I was really with a lot of crappy guys who just thought that they're all that, and also seeing multiple girls while talking to me. And that's just the reality of dating. It sucks. But you have to realize that you deserve better. And I think when I was dating around, I kind of realized like, I don't really have time for bad, crappy relationships. I know what I'm worth and I know what I deserve. And I deserve a lot better than a lot of what these guys are giving me. When Brandon and I got back together, I kind of made it clear that these are the expectations that I had. And you just have to accept that no one guy is perfect. If you talk to any couple, them as a couple have been through a lot. Just like me and Brandon on Instagram, we may seem that we have so much figured out, but the reality is that when we first started dating, we were both very problematic. We've been through a lot of ups and downs together, but that's just how all relationships are. You have to be really patient and be able to work through a lot of these things together. And also, as a woman, you have to be patient to kind of train a guy. And what I mean by that, a lot of guys kind of don't really know how to date or treat a woman correctly, and a lot of them, especially younger ones, kind of just want to date around and fool around. I don't know, it's kind of a tough topic because you have to be able to balance like knowing you deserve better, but also being able to have the patience to kind of work through some of the issues that you guys as a couple may have. That's just a whole other relationship topic. I think when Brandon and I got back together, he realized that, you know, I was a catch and it wasn't worth going around and talking to these other girls. I feel like being confident kind of is important for a lot of different aspects of your life. Great for relationships, friendships, for work, and also having all three of those and like good solid group of friends, a great job, a great significant other that treats you right also helps to develop your confidence as well. I just think that you have to know what you're worth. Don't settle for anything less than that, and that is one big thing that has helped me a lot with my confidence, and also going outside of your comfort zone. When I was young, I dated a lot of different guys, and talking to someone new is always kind of scary, and you get your heart broken, you get hurt. But at the end of the day, when you have dated and seen like a good amount of guys, you're a lot more confident in the next guy that you talk to, and you know better how to handle yourself, you know your expectations and how to kind of let him know that. In high school, I was super shy, insecure, but now with all the experiences that I've had, I'm not shy. And also with my relationships, I'm not scared to let Brandon know like what I expect out of him. I also had a couple girls ask me like how to not be jealous of their boyfriend, and say like a hot coworker that works with you and your boyfriend. And I think that kind of goes into whether you have trust issues with your boyfriend. If he's kind of like a seedier person and he's done stuff in the past that has really hurt you, and he's like talked around with other girls, I feel like that is kind of a conversation that you need to have with your significant other, and that can't always be something that you hold other girls accountable for. You can't always hate other women. Like for example, I am so confident in my relationship with me and Brandon that I'm okay with him talking to like really attractive women, because I don't feel threatened by that. Like we go out and order coffee, or when we are at a restaurant and the server's kind of just like chatting it up with us, I don't feel threatened by that, because I know she's just doing her job, and maybe she thinks he's cute, but if she's being respectful, I don't feel threatened by that. So if Brandon has like a really good looking girlfriend and they are just friends, I trust him and I don't feel threatened by that. But on the other hand, if this girl is really disrespectful towards me, Brandon had a girl that went to his high school that really was attracted to him, and I could tell that she just was really flirty with him. She would only have eyes for Brandon and not really acknowledge me, and that's when I have a problem with it, because if you're not going to be respectful and acknowledge me while you're talking to my boyfriend, that's when I have an issue. So in cases like that, you either have to talk to your boyfriend and let them know that you don't feel comfortable when he kind of entertains a conversation or a relationship with someone that doesn't really respect you or your relationship. And also, if that person who is flirting with your boyfriend doesn't really respect your relationship, you might want to pull them aside too and be like, hey, I don't like the way that you're talking to my boyfriend, and kind of just make it clear, because it's better to have those upfront conversations than just be like passive aggressive, be mad at like other girls that think your boyfriend's attractive, and then be mad at your boyfriend who doesn't really know maybe what's going on. In this case with Brandon and that girl that he went to high school with, she would constantly be like flirting with him and trying to like touch him and touch his arm and stuff like that. I started noticing that she wouldn't even acknowledge me. So when I would be standing there with Brandon and she's chatting it up with him, I would always like put my hand on his cheek and kind of like look him in his eye and maybe like get him to kiss me, or like kind of flirt back with Brandon while she was like in the middle of whatever she was trying to do, and kind of just let it known like, this is my man, back up. However you want to deal with it, if you're like confrontational or not, I just kind of like to send signals and let them know like, this is my man, and if you're not going to respect me, you're not allowed to have this relationship with my boyfriend. And Brandon also understands why I feel the way that I do, and it's kind of like, if one of my guy friends were to do that to me, he would feel the same way. And so you just kind of have to respect each other and not make it like a contest or anything like that. Just be adults about it and kind of have the conversation up front, so then you don't have to be passive aggressive towards anyone. And also I think it's really great to kind of just understand that people are just doing their jobs. Like attractive servers that are talking to your boyfriend might not be flirting, they may just be doing their job. So my hair is a mess, but this is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed this chatty get ready with me. If you guys have any questions or other topics that you want to talk about, let me know down below in the comments. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.